What's up, Kabroda crew? Welcome back. Thanks for joining. Hopefully y'all are doing well again today. Back here on Thursday, the 13th of August. Back for another live stream, kind of checking out the charts, seeing what's going on, seeing what's happening today. Yesterday it was a pretty boring day. We didn't really have much going on in the way of charts. A little bit of sideways. We did break down a little bit, but not too far. I guess if you're really watching it, if you're really interested in the move, you probably could have got a little something out of it. But like we were kind of talking about yesterday, for our system, it just wasn't great. I mean, even if we had taken the trade we were kind of talking about yesterday, first off, targets would have been a little bit off, but you would have made about a 1-to-1, I guess, if you took it all the way to the very tip of the drop. But like I said, targets weren't really there. We were talking about targeting, possibly the daily resist or daily support right there, and that would have taken us, given us basically just a nice little 0.5. But honestly, not too great overall of a trade. The risk reward is not great. We kind of talked about that yesterday, and then it did keep dropping. So yes, you could have gotten a little more, but like we said yesterday, there just wasn't a whole lot of energy in the charts, so there wasn't a lot of probability that it would have dropped that far. Obviously it did though, so if you were in that trade, or your system told you to play that, then nice job to you. Not too bad. Yeah, really though, we didn't do much of anything yesterday. Kind of spiked up in the morning, and then we kind of just fell back, and now we're sitting pretty much where we were sitting most of Tuesday as well. So really have not moved too much, honestly. Looking pretty nice though overall. We'll see what happens today, see what's going on. We got 2 people here today, it looks like. 2 people in the chat at least. So welcome in, Terry. Welcome in, Kathleen. Thanks for joining. Good morning to y'all. Yeah, thanks for coming in. Yeah, we'll see what happens today. We'll get everything set up. I do want to say this will probably be actually one of our last live streams, or the last live stream. We're actually switching on over. We're going to start a channel for our sourdough stuff. We're still going to be trading, still going to be doing all of that. We just won't have really time to kind of keep putting into the channel and stuff, and we'll be having more time to kind of put into that. So yeah, this will be kind of the last video. Thank y'all for the people that stuck around, watched us for the time that we were here. We still will be running Kabroda and everything. We just won't have the channel really going much anymore. It'll just kind of this will just kind of be the last video. Yeah, I mean, it'll still be around. All of our old videos will still be on here, so if you want to go back and watch whatever videos, you're more than welcome to. But most of the new content won't be here. I'm not going to say we'd never come back. It's just right now, just a lot of time devotion. We have other stuff that's kind of coming on, and we're developing and building other stuff, and we just don't have as much time to put into making content for the YouTube channel. So yeah, we are going to be moving on from this. Like I said, we will have another channel with our cottage bakery that we're working on building. So we'll have Back 40 Provisions is the name of that one. So if you guys want to look us up, it's not up yet, but if you're watching this in the future or whatever, probably have something coming up for that. So if you want to check us out, go ahead. But yeah, so this will be kind of the last video though of our last live stream for sure, of us kind of just going over the market. It's been fun though. But yeah, like I said, we'll still be around. We'll still be doing crypto, still be jumping into charts, checking stuff out. We just don't have enough all the time to develop or put into building the channel. But yeah, without besides that, we'll just go ahead and jump in here today and kind of get everything ready and set up and see what's going on. So we'll jump into getting our lines and everything on the chart, kind of get everything set up and see what we're doing, see what's happening today, see if there's anything special kind of going on, and then maybe we'll talk a little bit more about the long term, since we won't be around too much to talk about it. Kind of talk about what we're looking at, what we're seeing, maybe what you guys can look at after we're kind of gone, what you guys can be watching for. So yeah, let's start off though. Let's get that 15-minute set up and see what's going on there. And then we can kind of move on, to everything else. So yeah, let's head on over to Kabroda.com here. And today we are looking at the market radar. If you've never seen it before, this is basically the heart of Kabroda, like I always say. Yeah, basically just kind of little MIDI breakdown here of Kabroda, and then if you open up the cockpit, what we call it, basically there'll be a whole list of different things that you can kind of see, talking about the longer term, shorter term, what's going on with the chart today, what to look for, what not to look for, what to watch out for, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's basically it's just a breakdown of BTC. So we'll kind of break it down ourselves, kind of explain everything. And then we'll throw it on our chart and see what's going on. So BTC today is at 63,589 as of 8 o'clock. Obviously now we are a little bit higher. We jumped up to 63,700. We are bearish today with 5 out of 5 of our indicators showing bearish. So that is a good sign, I guess, if you're a bear. We are building as well, so that's good for breaking to the downside, kind of building some structure here to continue down further. The jewel is lined up with price action, so we're looking for a nice little drop down here, just based off the jewel. The multi-agent system, however, is telling us to stand down today, so we don't have any trades really happening today in terms of our system and how it works. We do have a 1 hour, but like I said yesterday, and I think probably the day before, essentially the 1 hour is still in development, so we're still working on making the 1 hour and 4 hour better trades. And so we've kind of been going through and saying, would we trade this, would we not trade this? And then when we do say, okay, we would trade this, then we'll paper trade it basically, and then come back and say, all right, based off of all of this, how's the trades doing? Based on the past 10 trades, we made this much, we lost this much. What went wrong with the ones we lost? What went right with the ones we made? Was there things that maybe we need to change based off of that? Common denominators that make us lose, or common denominators that make us win. All of that, basically, we'll go through all of that, kind of change it up, and that's why I say it's still in development. We haven't quite got to the point where we think it's ready to go. Not to say that it couldn't make good trades, or that most of its trades aren't good. It's just that it's still not 100% ready for what we would like it to be at. So yeah, it's still in development, but it is on there. So we might check that out here in a minute. As of right now, though, let's go ahead and get those triggers and throw them on our chart. See what's going on. Let's head back to trading view here, and we'll throw our lines on. Go Thursday, new lines, and this is what we're looking at today. So looking pretty nice for a little bit of a breakup to the upside today here on the lines. You got the 30-minute range pretty close to the top side, as well as you got your daily support way up here, or daily resistance, sorry, way up here. Pretty good distance as well. Maybe, yeah, not a 0.5, a 0.4, so not great, I guess, in terms of the distance. The trade would technically be to the upside, though, if we did get a close here. And then you'd be taking it, yeah, just up to the daily resistance. So not too bad. That'd be the very basic trade, I guess. Not quite our whole system, but I guess one of the main components of it. If you're trading, you know, our older system, that would be kind of the whole thing right there is what you do. Wait for the 8:30 candle, obviously, to close. And then the next close over, you'd be jumping in and taking it up to the daily resistance. Yeah, we'll see what happens. So again, that's just kind of one of the indicators. So 30-minute range lines up good. You don't have enough gaps, so that's not too great. In terms of the gap between the two lines, typically look for a 1% gap, and we have a 0.5, so not too great there either. In terms of going down, it's not looking great at all. We have a tiny little gap between the daily support and then the breakdown line, so not great there. And honestly, yeah, not a lot of room to really drop down. Not a lot of targets really down there either, besides, you know, our bigger time frame targets. So in terms of, you know, how's the 15-minute look today, it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of just there. Definitely has some ups, has some downs. You know, obviously some of our other indicators are pointing to the downside, and then we're saying, hey, look at the lines, they're pointing to the upside. So you know, probably more stagnant today, more sideways chop, maybe a little bit up, if I was going to say anything, but who knows, you know, it's hard to tell with how it's kind of set up. It's kind of just, it's really either way. Looking at the longer time frames, moving out, the 1 hour is still in a downtrend here, so pretty nice. We do have that double top that we've been talking about. Obviously not too great of a double top. Typically you want the price action to come up and actually get a close within the candle wick, the previous highs candle wick. We didn't get that. We just kind of wicked up pretty close to the top of that candle wick, and then came back down and got a close pretty well below. So we're still in a bit of a downtrend here, just kind of continuing down to the downside. Kind of flat bottom as well, so you know, really that's kind of a pattern to continue. That's a continuation pattern to the downside, so we'll see what happens there as well. So 1 hour looking pretty bearish. You do have the jewel kind of jewel's kind of midline. There's not really anything. If anything, I would say it's probably a little bit more bullish, but it's kind of in the middle, really. So not really great either way. Not telling you a lot of downside, not telling you a lot of upside either. We did have a beast mode candle though here back on Monday. Yeah, Monday. It would have been Monday. So we did have that, and then we dropped down a little bit farther. Typically when you see these, you'll see a reversal pretty soon after. Maybe a little bit drop farther like we did, but then you'll see a reversal. So maybe it's going to reverse here on the 1 hour. We'll see. Kind of got to read all the charts in Confluence though. So, you know, 1 hour looking kind of bullish. We'll see what the 4 hour says here. Opening up the 4 hour, we are looking, wow, not too great, honestly. We were looking bearish, so we kind of had a bear trend going on here, kind of dropping us down, and then right about here we came up and we got a close. Actually, wow, yeah, actually, I guess technically that's still in a bear trend. It's kind of, you know, hit or miss actually right there, so you probably could argue either side. Typically, you know, why I'm saying that is, I guess we did get a little bit above, but why I'm saying that is typically what you'll want to see when you're looking for a downtrend or an uptrend is you're looking at the highs and the lows. So, you know, obviously starting here, this is the highest high out of this set of price range. So, you know, obviously we're in a bull trend here, come up, make a higher high, and then we come back down, get a close below the previous low here. So that sets us up for a downtrend. Then we come up, make a lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, and then we come back up here, and this is where trend flips. So right here, we did make a higher high above the previous lower high that we had. So that's where we kind of flipped the trend. Obviously, it's kind of iffy because you could say, you know, we flipped it here, but you're looking for the next. Yeah, basically what you need to see is you need to see a higher high, and then you need to see a higher low to kind of set us in that trend. So, you know, you could have said, okay, we broke it here, gotta close barely above this close here, and so then you come back down, you're saying, okay, that's the higher low, and then you come up, but then we kind of just smoked this, and so really this is all just kind of pointing to this being the higher high that we're looking for. But in terms of how much did it really break it, I guess you could argue that it did break it, but I could also see the other side where you're saying, okay, well, we're still in a downtrend because we didn't really break this very cleanly, very well. So, really not too great. Not a great price action. Definitely not a great trend example of how to read, you know, trend. So I would still say we're probably flipped bullish, but honestly not looking too great. It could be bearish as well, or just, you know, sideways. So I wouldn't really be pointing either way on this one, honestly. 4 hours just not looking great. As for the jewel, you do have it lining up here on the downside, kind of still drifting down a little bit from the last bear move, you know, coming from here and down. So maybe a little bit more down here, but definitely looking good for the continued upside. So kind of, I guess, backing up the idea that, you know, we did make a higher high here, and now we're making a higher low and going to continue up, and we're kind of flipping script here. We're going to go for a little bit more of a bull run here. So we'll see what happens. Again, that's just a 4 hour. Moving on to the daily. For the daily, looking pretty similar. We have those double top right there. You got a high here, and then you got another high here, and they're pretty close to the same. So, you know, you can see this one kind of came up and got a close within this one's wick. That's the pattern we'll typically look for as a double top. When you see a double top, typically you drop. That's kind of the saying. If you see a double bottom, then you're going to continue to the up, or you're going to go to the upside. So, you know, we'll see what happens, but that does look like a double top to me as of right now. But who's to say you still could continue, you know, and flip to the upside and go to the upside. Could also just be, you know, maybe a pattern. Maybe we're kind of making something like some kind of wedge with this being the top here, and you're going to see price action kind of bounce around and then flip to the upside. Who knows? We'll have to see. Really, to confirm the double top, we actually have to get below the previous low before the double top. So this previous low here, we'd have to get around 57,800 level. We'd have to basically just get past that 60,055 level we've been talking about for a while with the with the longer term time frames, you know. So we'll see what happens there. As of right now, it's kind of looking like it's compressing really in some sort of compression, whether that's you know, the flag that we just talked about, or the possible double top there. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But yeah, that's what we're looking at there. The jewels kind of sideways here, not looking too great for either side. One thing to note is we do have our beast mode candle here, so we, you know, set a beast mode, came down even lower. That could be the bottom there, so we could have made a bottom here, and then now we're kind of maybe doing the other flag there. So maybe we are looking a little bullish. Definitely compressing though. Overall, yeah, that's what I would kind of say. You know, daily looks like it is compressing for sure. Moving on to the weekly. Weekly looks a little nicer on that pattern, you know, with the flat top and rising lows. We are also pretty low here on the jewel. Looking for some upside momentum here to kind of flip the jewel back into more of an upwards trend. So yeah, overall, you know, looking pretty nice there on the weekly for the bull side. The weekly, we've also been looking at this flag here. forget what these are called. The Elliott wave. So we've been looking at the Elliott wave here, you know, with starting at 0 down to 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we've been waiting for bear wave 5 to kind of come in and show us that we're going to continue. We're waiting for it to actually confirm bear wave 5, and that way we can kind of see where the targets are going to go, see what's going to happen. But hasn't confirmed yet. We actually need price action to get below that 60,055 level I kind of mentioned earlier to confirm that we are in fact going to continue on to bear wave 5. The other thing we've been looking for to do as a possibility is actually flip and go to the upside. For that to happen, we have to have that the other level, so 80,635 I think is what it is, somewhere around there. 80,600 is pretty close to the level that we've been talking about. Basically, we need it to get a close above there before we could see more upside. And you know, if you're asking, you know, why is that? Basically, what would happen is then that would kind of flip trend. That would kind of break the top there that we need to break for us to see the continued move there to the upside. So we'll see what happens. But as of right now, we're kind of just in the middle, still, you know, kind of compressing, kind of building, getting ready to either take out one or the other. And that's what we kind of seen, you know, on the daily. That's what we kind of saw on the 4 hour a little bit. Even some of the 1 hour kind of shows signs of that happening. So we'll see what happens. Really, yeah, it's just, you know, either way, it's got to take out one of the sides, and that's what we're kind of waiting on right now. Yeah, so that's kind of the breakdown of the longer time frames. It's kind of what we're thinking. You know, until we kind of flip one of those two, we'll be going either way. If we do break to the downside, get a close below 60,055, that's where we'd be looking at taking the chart down to around 42 to 45,000. Those would be our targets. Those would be where we're looking to really go down to. We'll see what happens there. Yeah, well, that's where we'd have to do, though. We'd have to get that close below, and then those would be our targets. If we break to the upside, though, and you're going to the upside, your targets are kind of just going to be the next waves. So, you know, previous waves we had of wave 2, where we came up to around 98,000. That would be probably your next target. Once we get to break the 80,600 level, and then we'd be targeting 126, obviously, as kind of taking out the top and continuing to the upside. Yeah, I mean, if we did break that 80,600 level, you can bet we're going to continue up like that. It's just, yeah, that we need to really get a close above or get a close below those levels. Until then, though, it's hard to tell really what we're going to do, because we're kind of in compression. We're kind of, you know, waiting around. Everybody's getting antsy. Everybody's kind of, you know, fearful of the market. You can see that in the fear and greed index. We talked about that quite a bit on this channel. You know, you're seeing the fear and greed index down in fear, extreme fear, for a pretty long time. So you're just kind of waiting, you know, everybody's really just waiting, kind of wondering, hey, what are we going to do? Are we going to go down? Are we going to go up? People are nervous, and it's kind of to the point now where it's like, it's not even like people are nervous and they're selling. They're just kind of nervous, and they just don't know what to do. They're just kind of waiting around. They're just nervous because they have no idea what's going to happen. Yeah, and I mean, there's not really a lot of money coming in, not a lot of money coming out. And then you add on top of that, it's also summer. So typically crypto is, or typically Bitcoin, I guess specifically, but most of crypto kind of follows Bitcoin. So we kind of just say crypto, but crypto is typically pretty boring here in the summer. So seeing price action kind of stagnant like this is kind of typical in the summer. So, you know, adding that on top of what we already are seeing in the market just kind of adds on another wave of, you know, just compression and uncertainty, and just, yeah, a lot of people are having a hard time with this one. So we'll see what happens. That's what we're really watching for, though, in the longer term. once we kind of flip one of those sides, really, it's probably going to set up pretty nicely for either the upside or the downside, and then we'll have a pretty good little trading run there where we'll be able to make some money. But until then, we're kind of just, you know, hanging out, waiting. You know, at Kabroda, we're just going to be sitting on our hands, kind of waiting around. Yeah, it really depends on your system, though. You know, you could be trading right now and having a great little time taking some trades, but as for us, and I think a lot of traders out there, it is pretty hard time to be trading right now. There's a lot of mixed signals here in TA. There's a lot of, you know, just rough going on the trading just in general. So yeah, take it as you will, I guess. But yeah, we'll see what happens there. See if we can get it a break to either side, really. Yeah, that's kind of it for today, though. You know, we don't really have much else to go over. We'll see. We might still be bringing out the newsletter. We'll kind of have to see about that one. So I guess if you guys are interested in it, just keep an eye out for it. If we do end up bringing it out, maybe we'll do like a video or something kind of talking about that. So if you guys want to just stay connected, stay hooked in, see if you're see if we bring it out or not, you know. But yeah, like I said, this is going to be probably our last live stream for a while, if not forever, really. We just don't have as much time to kind of devote to this, so we're looking to, you know, make some cuts, I guess, to have some more time for other stuff that we're looking at doing and looking at building. Like I said, though, we'll still be trading, so we'll still be, you know, jumping into the markets, checking it out, you know, investing, all of that jazz. So not quitting on crypto, just taking a step back from YouTube for a little bit, specifically on crypto stuff. So yeah, like I said, thanks for joining, thanks for hanging out with us while we were on here, and while we're checking out the markets with y'all. Hopefully we helped y'all in some way. Hope you kind of learned something. But yeah, it's been a fun ride, and yeah, we're excited for the next chapter, see what's going on next. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of it. So thanks y'all, thanks for joining, thanks for hanging out. Hope y'all have a good rest of your days in crypto, and yeah, happy trading to y'all. We will catch y'all well, eventually, I guess sometime we'll catch y'all. Maybe if y'all come over to the Sourdough channel, we'll catch y'all there. But yeah, happy trading to y'all. We'll see y'all later.